Hola clase y bienvenidos a la clase de español. Today we're going to talk about Spanish irregular verbs. Now in your last video we talked about regular verbs and how they follow a conjugation pattern. So we talked about the two parts of a regular verb and how they were the stem and the ending. And if you remember then in the regular verb conjugation, the pattern is that we take off that ending and we add our new endings to the stem. Now, this is the pattern for all regular verbs. Now, unfortunately, irregular verbs don't always follow a pattern. So today we're going to talk about the 5 irregular verbs, dar, ir, ser, estar, and ver. So let's first start by talking about what these verbs mean. Dar means to give. Ir means to go. And just like in your last video, I'm going to put them in a T-chart, just for organizational purposes. Ser means to be. And estar also means to be, and we'll talk about the differences in those in a different video. We'll talk about ver in just a minute because it's what I call a quasi-irregular, though all of these kind of fit into a quasi-irregular. But ver means to see, and we'll do that one last. All right, so just like in the other one, I'm only going to put the subject pronouns on the first one here, but we're always going to go in this order. Yo, tú, él, ella, and usted. And remember that on the left-hand side are all of our singulars, and on the right-hand side are all the plurals. Nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. Now, dar is technically an AR verb, and it'll have an irregular yo form, but then it will be conjugated like an AR verb. So yo, doy, tú, das, él, ella, and usted, da, nosotros, damos, vosotros, dais. You'll notice there's no accent marks on that vosotros form. Ellos, ellas, ustedes, dan. Ir, while it does look like it should be an IR verb, is actually conjugated with AR endings. It'll look a lot like dar, just with V's instead of D's. So that's going to be yo, voy, tú, vas, él, ella, usted, va, nosotros, vamos, vosotros, vais, ellos, ellas, ustedes, van. I'm going to skip ser for now and we're going to go on to estar. Estar is an AR verb and it will be conjugated like an AR verb with the exception of the yo form. And you'll also notice that it has a plethora of accent marks. So yo, estoy, tú, estás, él, ella, usted, está, nosotros, estamos, vosotros, estáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes, están. So you'll notice that all the forms except the yo form, the first person singular, and the nosotros form, the first person plural, have an accent mark over the A. Now let's talk about ser, because ser is truly irregular. Even though it has an ER ending, it is just completely strange. It doesn't follow any patterns at all. It doesn't fit in with any of our verb categories. So we're yo, soy, tú, eres, él, usted, es, nosotros, somos, vosotros, sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes, son. Now, again, it doesn't fit into any of our verb categories, any of our patterns. It is truly, truly irregular. And while it is probably the most irregular verb in the Spanish language in the present tense, It's also one of the most commonly used, so you definitely need to memorize the verb ser. Let's talk about ver, because ver looks like an ER verb, and it'll be conjugated like an ER verb, with the exception of the yo form. But it still ends in O, so it does technically end just like a ER verb in the yo form, but the irregularity is that it keeps the E. Instead of saying vo, we say veo. So then we have tú, ves, él, ella, usted, ve, nosotros, vemos, vosotros, veis, ellos, ellas, ustedes, ven. You'll notice that it has the exact same conjugations as ir, except it's conjugated with e's instead of a's. So make sure that you understand the difference between ver with an e and ir conjugated with a's. Those are the Spanish irregular verbs. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you later.